All right, hello and welcome to Adhd, Season 2. We are starting what Orion has named the Road to Erys. Erys will be the world that this campaign will be taking place in. And before the main campaign starts, we have a few stories we want to tell. The first one we're calling Raincloacks. That's what you're listening to now. Raincloaks is taking place about 100 years before the main campaign is going to start. And in this campaign, it's just me and Arion, but we have guests that pop in and out. So, I hope you enjoy. Man, if I died unexpectedly and people went through these D&D notebooks out of context, they would just think I was an insane person. Perrin, 38, smooth brown eyes, red rough scales, 6'2", beefy build, sharp features, elaborate piercing in left ear, unfinished piercing on left cheek. And then under that, there's a shit ton of numbers that are marked out with black letters beside them. I guess... Oh, it's HP. There's a 5. Anyway. I'm gonna get in trouble playing at home being too loud. Alright.
Me too.
Yeah, I bet.
Yep, I'm in my completely empty house.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so, do you play that intro at the beginning every time? Oh, I did look through this. Or do
Yes, I do.
Do I do it? Or do I do a little intro now?
If you want to do an intro now, do it.
This is
do an intro now.
Yeah.
This is the intro now.
Yeah. Okay. Hey guys, welcome to ADHD. The intro's obviously already started. We're doing the Road to Erys, little story thing we're doing right now. We have I think what's going to be the last rain session that's on the main feed. So here it is. So it's just like everyone's two favorites, just me and Arion. We don't have any of the chaff holding us back in this episode. Yeah, aka the best ones. Darren and Haskell were the dream team, but in real life, Orion and Bret are the best ones. Wow, those notes.
You can't really get better than us.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing against anybody else. They can't help it. They're doing their best. They're great. They're just, they have some stiff competition.
They're just not us.
Man, you can't hold that against them. So
you cannot hold that against them. I mean, you don't have to, because we're really making the best stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to. You could just listen to this. Yeah, just join our Patreon and just listen to Rain. That's what I would do.
Yes, when we get around to recording more Rain sessions and putting them on the...
Yeah, not yet.
This is going to be the last... Yeah,
wait
in about 6 months.
We don't need it yet. Yeah, yeah. Start paying us in 6 months. That's just put it on your
start paying us now. I mean, you could start paying us now and listen to all of the Patreon stuff I already got on there. But there's a lot of stuff on the Patreon already. I think at this point there's like 3 sessions of 4 different campaigns at least.
Yeah, there's a lot on there. And I do plan on us still recording Rain from here on out. That'll start going on there.
The problem for you and I, of course, is the fact that we have too many things we like to record together, and so then it becomes, okay, this time we're doing Rain, but I kind of really want to do Theron. And like, we'll just be switching back and forth between Rain and Theron nonstop. And then whatever else comes our way. Oh no, Bret's computer decided to restart as we're talking about this. That's why he's so silent.
Man, 3, 2, yeah. I'm just aggravated by it.
Yeah.
All right. So I think before I lost connection, we were begging for money in 6 months.
Yeah, basically is what we had decided on. 6 months, start listening to stuff on the Patreon.
Yeah. So we'll just hop right in from there. Last Rain session, how about this? I think this would be a good experience for everybody. I think you should tell us what happened last Rain session from Rain's point of view. I think that'll give us an interesting look at it. I'm always talking setting the scene. So how about we hear what Rain thought about last session? Because I remember all of it, and Let's just hear.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure you remember all of it. Rain really smoothly snuck into a Lawbringer's tower. Found his way down into the basement where there was a ton of magic items. Some dude, what was it? A halfling? Some halfling showed up and like tagged along for some reason. Thought about killing him, but didn't. He got a bunch of magical items, some really cool stuff. And then he walked out of the place with no problem while the weird I want to say halfling because Carson always plays weird halflings. I really don't remember. Rain doesn't remember what he was. Yeah, he like got noticed and everything by the crowd in the tower, but by that point, Rain was like leaving.
Yeah.
I think that's basically it.
And then he went back.
Huh?
Is that the last thing we did? Me and you didn't do like a 20-minute thing after that?
Not that I know of.
Nope. We were going to play that one night and didn't. That's what happened.
That was the night I was like off. We like got on.
Okay. So, also, Rain was told before that mission that this was basically like, I don't remember the exact words, but it's been his quest giver this whole time, whose name he doesn't know. Or I guess not the whole time.
Yeah, he just has he has like a fishy smell.
Yeah, that one. Glad you said that. He basically said, I remember one of the things he said was, if you complete this mission, he said pull back the veil that is the cloaks, and you'll see what's really going behind the scenes, something like and basically promised you lots of power. So,
which makes sense, yeah.
When Rain, yeah, of course,
Rain should have a lot of power.
Back, yeah,
he'd be very responsible with it.
When he comes back, yeah, of course he is. You don't see this guy when you come back to Quest Inn, which isn't uncommon. It has been for how your deal with him has worked, but it was actually the original guy who was, God, I can't believe I didn't write his name down.
The original guy from the very first session?
Jokes about for some reason. Yeah. Yeah, remember, he gave you a few quests, and then you basically got, yes, wow, what a pull.
I actually took notes in the first session.
Is that...
My notes in the... Yeah. I took really good notes in the first session, decent notes in the second session, really good notes in the third session, actually. I wrote a lot of shit down. Fourth session, I put 2 lines in. And those lines are, bring Carson in, and go to the armory and get as much as you can.
Mm-hmm. I need to start... I don't know, I'm going off on a tangent. I need to start, though, opening up those group notes like you did in that one.
Yeah, I need to do that.
When I'm DMing, because I always take notes in the shared notes. I don't know, because I'm ADD at the point where I'm like, I'm bad at taking notes because I'm not going to take notes now. I'll write that down in a little bit, and then never write it down. It's that shared, everyone see it.
Yeah, of course.
Oh god.
Well, that's like me saying, okay, I'm gonna record all this audio, and then I'm gonna listen back through it and take notes from the audio when I'm editing. And instead of doing that, I forget to take notes when I'm editing the audio as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
mm-hmm. 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 Oh, sometimes I'll remember during, right? If I'm doing something like that, I would remember halfway through and go, I should start taking this now, and then go, no, I'll timestamps and remember. I'll just remember.
I have started going on to
and then you remember and 3 hours left. Oh, I don't know any of those.
Yeah, I've been making notes on Audacity sometimes a little bit more lately, but still not like crazy amounts. So.
So anyway, back to the topic at hand.
Anyways.
Yeah. So anyway, it's Esmir that's there again. And there's like you don't really have much of a conversation with him. He gives you like a little box and says that it's your reward for finishing the job. When Rain opens it, it's a bunch of jewels and gems that if he sells them, which I assume he will,
Jewels,
he can. If he sells them, they're worth 1,000 gold total. If you want to sell any portion of that and have any amount of gems left, like their value, know their value and stuff, I don't care. You can do that and just you can know what they are, or you can just take 1,000 gold.
That's a lot of gold.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I don't know if Rain would know what to do with that.
What would Rain do? Also, it was just a very casual thing. Like, I think even Rain was like going to meet in the little study room that they meet.
Yeah.
And Esmir was out. Walks up to him. He's like, "Hey, good job on the. They said you'd get on the job. Here's this." I walked off, and Rain, opened it there, walked off and opened it, and saw how much it was. And what would Rain's reaction be like when he opens this box and sees all these gems inside of it that he somehow instantly knows are worth 1,000 gold pieces?
Rain's not a big money guy. Like, he doesn't need money. That's like the biggest thing with him. So I don't see him.
It'd be great if he had a reaction that was like, "Oh God, what am I going to do with this? This is inconvenient. This is a lot of money."
Oh, that's what I kind of think it's like that. Like he's probably a little bit like, "Oh, where am I going to hide this?" Like he hides money. I think
I had forgot that he's got money hidden all over the city, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Like, oh man, I don't know. I don't know if he would know what to do with that. I think it would probably be a little bit weird for him. I guess he would. He's not even going to sell the gems. No, he's not going to sell the gems. He's just going to keep them, because the gems are easier to keep than 1,000 gold, right? Like it's like a pocket full of gems.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a pocket full of gems compared to 1,000 gold pieces that you can't carry around with you. So he's just gonna hide the gems in one of his hiding places, and that's it. That's all he's gonna do.
He just hides them. Does he hide them all together?
He's got a couple different hiding places, so he probably puts a couple gems, and that's basically it.
Just to make it easy, like the math simple, we'll say there's 10 gems.
Okay, so yeah, then he hides them really 3, 3, and 4, 3 different places.
Okay. God, now I need to know about Rain's hiding places. Does
he's got a number of them?
Just not. I don't want to know where he's hidden them yet. I want you to just break me off 2 or 3 hiding places he has, though, that gems aren't. Yeah.
I mean, he's got 2 rooftops that he uses regularly. One of them is actually only a block away from the hideout for the Cloaks.
Yeah, I think you talked about that one. Yeah.
Yeah, he does that. That's where he keeps his beggar cloak and stuff like that. And it's it's one of those loose stone on the roof that makes the roof that opens up into a little area, just a little pocket area that he puts stuff in. He's also got a hiding place that's in a trash bin basically somewhere, but not a trash, not one of the mimic trash bins that will, eat the food. But because that's the thing you have to worry about. So he's got 2, I think he's got 2 rooftop places and then at least 1 trash bin place. And by trash bin, I probably mean more of a dump, a trash dump. You still here? Am I here or are you? I can't hear you at all, Bret.
Oh God, I'm still here. Good. Okay.
You are.
Okay. Obviously my computer just restarted again. Came back in, got on Discord, hit join channel, it restarted again.
Oh my lord.
So Audacity back up. Yeah, I'm currently downloading Audacity on this other computer I'm using. I thought I might have to switch. Oh God, it's showing 2 projects. I don't know what to do about that. the projects are to date is the name of them, right? Because they haven't been saved. So I don't know
Yes.
what one of them is half of the other. You know what I mean? One of them is
Yeah.
the first time, and the other one is the first time and the second time. But I don't know which is. I know it was saved properly. What?
That's right. My computer doesn't ever save properly the first time, so I always have to save, close out, open Audacity back up, restore file, save again, then close it out for it to actually work properly.
Really?
Yeah, it saves it. Like, it's not unsaved. Like, even though it says it didn't save properly, it's still saved. So I don't know. I don't know what's weird about it.
Well, mine freaks me out. I recovered them, and then it just like. Oh, it looks like they might be gone now. And earlier it just closed on. I guess we'll just use Craig. I'm going to start a new recording. Is that what you think we should do? Yeah?
Yeah, just start a new recording, and I'll use Craig to supplement anything.
Yeah. All right. New recording going. So this rooftop hiding spot, like, how do you hide stuff on a roof? Is he pulling up shingles and putting it under there? Does he have a little secret place in the chimney?
Yeah, like one of the roofs is like a stone building that he's like pulled out some of the stone brickwork basically, and has like a hideaway in that. The other one is like I would say it's more like a shingles / like trash pile that nobody really notices anymore. Because it's on like the roof of like an abandoned building or something. Like if someone were to go destroy that building, but you know, who would do that?
Ever? How long's he been in this city? Like hiding stuff in the city? He's been hiding stuff since Gayer.
He's been hiding stuff since he got here. Let's see, how old is he? I have him as 24. So he's probably only like he's only been in this city for like maybe 5 years or so.
Okay. Has he ever went to one of these places and what he stashed there was gone?
Not very often. Sometimes it's been gone and then he just changes locations. He definitely like doesn't store usually things valuable in a lot of those locations.
Other than gold?
Yeah, but he doesn't even do that, because remember what he does with gold? He leaves gold pieces lying around.
No, I remember. God, he does leave gold pieces lying around.
Yeah, so
this dude he doesn't care about money at all.
No, he's not about money. He's about he would like to be in a position where he could get whatever he wants without having to care about money. But like he doesn't want a lot of things. He kind of just wants the power and wants the ability to like just do his own thing.
Mm-hmm. When you say though ability to do his own thing, what's that mean? I mean, he could do that now, right? He just made 1,000 gold. He could not work for the rest of his life off just that.
Oh, but not working. Well, he doesn't work now, but it's.
Well, I would disagree with that statement, but okay.
He doesn't. This doesn't work.
He's killed several people for money.
Well, yeah, that's killing people. Who cares about that?
Not several, but still. Yeah. It's not work if you love what you do every day. Right?
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
But what I mean basically is that if his definition of power is I can do whatever I want, what's that mean? Because he could do whatever he wants right now, or does it mean like whatever I want means I could kill a random person in the street and no one would do anything?
Maybe not that extreme, but pretty much like, hey,
but along those lines.
Yeah, like kind of along those lines. Like, hey, I want to be able to do something, and the people in the street just like kind of let it go because they know who I am. You know, like I want to be able to command people to do stuff for me, and I not have to be involved because of who I am and the power that I wield. It's like he wishes. He doesn't quite want to be king because he doesn't want to be that known, but he wants to be someone who people can fear and respect, while also not being that known. It's a weird mix for him. Like he wants to have the power, but he also doesn't want people to know he has the power, which is probably a kind of a conundrum. Oxymoron.
Oh, it's funny though. It's something I understand well for one of my characters, and also shows how it can be. Personalities like this can just like teeter on a razor's edge between different extremes because it sounds very Theron.
Yeah,
that's what Theron wants. Theron wants enough power so that when he comes in, everyone treats him special.
Yep.
But he doesn't want to have to do anything. Right when they're like, Theron, oh my gosh, what do we do? We're in danger. He's like, well, I'm not that guy. I'm the guy that like I come in, and they're like, Theron's here.
Yeah.
Look, it's that guy. We know who he is.
He wants to be
Norm.
Norm.
Stealing? It's fine.
He wants to be Norm when he walks into Cheers, the bar. He doesn't want to have to. He doesn't want to have to
Right.
be Ted Danson's person who has to work.
Yeah, sure. That sounds right. Every episode of Cheers I've ever seen was at my grandparents' house when I was under 10 years old. So,
see, in college, I watched through all of Cheers.
Whoa. What a cool dude watching Cheers in college.
Yeah, it was during my weekdays at college, weekends at Carson's house. When I was at like Carson's house like every weekend, all weekend long. Uh-oh, you're not talking again. You still here?
Oh, I was muted. Yeah. So I wanted this to be a 2 or 3 minute thing. It is what it is. And now I can't abandon it because I've started it. So just real quick, tell me the 3 places that he hides the gems.
I already did that. You just weren't here for it.
What? Where are they?
Because
I want to make you roll something, so I don't want to go back and hang on. Just upload this real quick. I'll go back and listen to it.
Upload it. He does the one like stone roof where he hides it in like a he's pulled out a brick type thing and hides it behind a brick. Is? Yeah, where his beggar's cloak is. He then has another rooftop that is like trash on the top kind of style. It's like a very messy rooftop of like an abandoned building, and like half of it's caved in. But that's where he like stores a number of things, not like super valuable all the time, but still things. Then there's like a trash dump kind of thing that he stores stuff also at.
So 2 rooftops and a dump. He stores stuff at a dump.
Yes, he stores stuff.
Also,
at a dump.
well, I guess he's been doing this for 5 years, and you said that stuff hasn't been found much. He's storing these, I assume, in 3 of his best spots.
Yes, those are his 3 best spots. He's got a few other spots that are definitely that are newer, and he doesn't trust as much. It has to like hit a certain amount of time before he's like, okay, I trust this spot. I'll go with it again.
Yeah, it makes sense. Then roll 60-20 for me, and then tell me the 3 highest.
Roll 6d20.
Soft time.
16, 15, and 6.
Those are your 3 best out of 6. Dang.
Yeah, I got a 1, 4, 5, 6, 15, 16.
Yeah, they all seem really good and hidden.
Yeah.
Okay. So after he's got these gems, about a month goes by. No, not about. Exactly a month goes by. Maybe more time if I've talked about seasons before and this doesn't match with what it should be, then that amount of time goes by. So after this amount of time, the winter has started, and it started getting cold, obviously. That's what happens in the winter unless you live where I live. And then, so like right now, there's a light snow on the ground. It just looks it looks like a Christmas movie as you walk through Vogelm. It's these houses everywhere, buildings everywhere, and the snow piled up on top of them, and the streets are cleared with snow pushed off to the sides of them. And it is, as he's walking through, he sees the symbol, which we said for him it was always Was it always on that original house
Yeah, it was.
that they went to? Yeah, so that that's just in his routine. Every few days he swings by there and he sees the symbol that's like calling him back, like they have something for him.
He sighs and kind of just makes his way back to the place.
Okay, yeah. So he heads back, right? Does his normal thing, goes in the secret entrance, and he goes in. Are you gonna do anything before you go in? Like he goes in, it's the common area. There's lots of people milling around. Oh man, let me roll on here and see. That's 6. Yeah. So he walks through. He doesn't recognize anybody except for he sees the guy that he beat in one of his duels on his first day here. When he was betting on himself in duels and winning a bunch of money, which is really funny because he doesn't care about money.
Yeah.
And then he
wins a lot of money, and then he has a lot of money. He probably has like money hidden back in his old towns.
Oh yeah, that he just didn't care enough about. Well,
yeah,
I could totally see him. He has so many hiding spots. Like here, if he's gonna pack up and move, he'd get half or less of his stuff and go. Right? Because it's exhausting to think about going to all 20 places. God, it's just money. Is it just money, or does he put?
It is.
Does he hide all his stuff?
Taco.
Is he homeless?
Okay, Taco needs. Yeah, kind of. I gotta take Taco out. He's just sitting here whining at me right now. I'll be right back.
All right.
Go potty.
Have a holly jolly Christmas. Happy birthday.
All right.
Alrighty. So, as Rain makes his way through, he goes to. It's probably second nature to him at this point. Whenever he meets with this person, whose name he doesn't know, it's always in the same room, and it's always like the same song and dance. He walks in, door closes behind him. It's the table in front of him with a chair for him and a chair on the other side, and no one's sitting there. He is sitting there waiting on him. And,
No, he's sitting there waiting for me this time?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. It is what normally happens. So Rain goes in, the door closes behind Rain, and, it's like the empty room. Except for there's a chair on the side for Rain and a chair on the other side that appears to be empty, right? Like, it seems like you're in here alone, but yeah, Rain's seen this a few times now.
Yeah, he just goes and sits in the chair and like puts his head down for a second.
That's so much better. Yeah, so he puts his head down for a second, picks his head up, dude's in front of him. Yeah. So
what is it this time?
Personally, normally. Now you will get the power that you were promised, if you're ready.
I am ready.
So he reaches into his big, heavy, dark cloak on an inside pocket and pulls out a black hood, when you put over somebody's head before you executed them, which is a bad parallel for me to draw here, because he's probably not about to execute you, and throws it on the table. This is, you'll need to put that on. This requires a little bit of trust.
Do I get to keep my weapons on me?
Of course.
He just reaches for it and puts it on his head.
All right. When he does, he feels an arm grab him from either side. I want to make you roll for this. I think it's very obvious because you've seen this person's arms and hands that you've talked to, and they're scaly and bony, and it's definitely not this guy that grabs you, even though something grabs you basically immediately when you put the hood on.
Yeah,
it's thicker, bigger hands, and one grabs him on each side, and it's kind of like leading him. They The first part would definitely be easy. He knows that he's being led out. And then to a carriage. And he steps up into a carriage, and it starts moving. And why don't you roll a perception check with... I'm trying to decide if I should give you disadvantage for... Or would he be... Would he at all be trying to figure out what's going on? Right?
He'd be
is he just
sniffing.
going with the flow, or would he... Okay.
No, he'd be
Which
sniffing.
gives you advantage, right? So why don't you...
Yes. Of course, that's why he does it.
Man, you know what? Take advantage anyway. I was going to give you disadvantage because there's a bag on your head, and that advantage would cancel it out, but man, they should have thought about this. He's a dog. Like, he can close his eyes and still find
Literally,
stuff.
yes.
You know what I mean? He don't...
Yes.
He a dog. He don't need his
He a dog.
eyes. He a dog, man. He's just going to smell his way there. Yes, take your advantage.
Okay, so perception with advantage. That's all right. He doesn't have I'm trying to type this out while I'm thinking it. He doesn't have proficiency in this, so that's a 16.
So with a 16, God, 16's good, man. He, all right, so with a 16, you know, like Rain knows, they get in a carriage and they're going down the street, right? He can't tell exactly where they are in the city, but they're headed in a straight line, so they're either headed to somewhere or leaving, and then he hears some chatter with guards, you know, and it roll through a gate, and so you know that you're leaving the city. And then there's about 15 minutes where Rain isn't really sure where they're going, but he's just smelling everything and taking everything in and committing it all to his memory. And after 15 minutes of this, it basically hits Rain that they have went away from the city and now they're headed back. And then when he realizes they're headed back, they just they don't go back inside the city, but they're just kind of zigzagging around close to the city, like trying to disorient you and keep you from knowing where you are. And when the carriage starts slowing down and they're talking to someone else that he knows aren't guards, he knows aren't the same guards, right? It's different voices, and they don't seem to be having the same conversation, right? It's more like, you're here, and they go in. Rain would assume they're only 2 miles away from Voghelm. And after talking to this guard, the air changes. Like, it immediately gets this damp and humid feeling. The wheels on the cart go from grass and gravel sounds to
round
hard
and
stone.
round.
And the windows go up and down, up and down. And you only ride
swish, 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 swish.
It only rides through this, what's basically feels like a cave, for a couple minutes before it stops. They get him out of the carriage and pull him over a few feet. You hear the carriage leave. And when it does, they pull the bag off your head. And when they pull the bag off Rain's head, you have night vision. Dark vision. Not night vision. You have night vision goggles?
I don't know. Hold on.
You have to. Hundlings have to have dark vision, right? I'm gonna
have to pull up the Hundling sheet. I actually do not remember. Where is that? That's
so
here.
funny. Because for anyone that's listening and doesn't know, Orion created this entire race from scratch, I believe, right?
I did.
Dog people in D&D, and then you made some.
See, my number one problem whenever I make...
Just so many.
Yeah, well, this is my number one problem whenever I make
variations.
I make a character, is that I just assume I'm going to remember if I have dark vision or not, so I don't put it on my sheet. Hundlings have dark vision, yeah.
Totally makes sense. Now I kind of hate that dark vision makes you see in grays.
Yeah, because that's normal.
It's not
for
a
me
decision
anyways.
I should. Well, that's what's. Yeah, it's Anyway, so when A bag comes off his head. So he can see what's going on, right? And it's basically he's just in this. He's surrounded by obsidian stone, and he seems to be in the corner of this large room. And from what he sensed before, and how it feels now, like he's definitely in a cave somewhere. But when you can't see the entrance, there's no light coming in. But on the other side of the room, there's this large door, and there is this big Goliath standing in front of him. That's wearing, what would he be wearing? So he's got gray skin. He stands easily over 7 feet tall. He has these weird carvings, like he has one on each cheek. That's a symbol that I seriously doubt Rain's ever seen anything like it. And then he has these like matching. Does Rain know anything about magic?
I mean, he's got to know something. He's a ranger. He's got spells and everything. I can't see him not knowing something about magic.
Yeah. If he's a ranger, he would know. Yeah, so he sees these carvings. He's got one on each cheek, and then he's got them going all down his arms. They've definitely scarred weird, and it seems very obvious to Rain that there's some kind of magical runes or gifts or something like that, or glyphs, I guess, whatever it is. Okay. And he doesn't recognize the magic or what they do. And oh shit! Oh, it didn't come unplugged. I thought my headset came unplugged. Yes, and then he's just wearing this tight, almost a little too tight, even black leather armor, and maybe he's trying a little too hard. And he's holding this bundle of like white fabric in his hand, and holds it out to Rain, and says, "Put this on. Go through there. You won't need any of your stuff, but you can take stuff if you want." And then he...
okay, I'll take the stuff if I want.
Okay. And he takes... Does he take the fabric from him?
Yeah, he's going to just do it.
Yeah, so when he takes it, this Goliath, like, just turns his back to him, like, as to give him privacy to change. When he undoes the fabric, it's just this, like, white robe. It's not elaborate, it's not a hood or... no hood or anything, like, almost like a really nice bathrobe. No, it's not a cloak. It's like a robe.
Oh, okay. He very quickly shucks his clothes off and throws on the robe.
And then like the glass looking over his shoulder, like sees his changes, like, "So through there," like points to the door in front of him.
Okay. He's gonna make his way to the door.
All right, so he pushes the door open.
He's very interested to see where this is leading.
Yeah, so he pushes the door open. It makes this loud scraping across the floor, the stone on the stone door. The stone door on the stone floor. And he pushes the door open and walks through, and when he does, this the person, creature, whatever, that's been giving him quest is standing off to the side of it, and kind of falls in step with him and gestures for him to move on into the room. When you look on into the room, it's this massive chamber, and it looks ancient. It's carved from obsidian. It's slick with the condensation of something that, like, at closer inspection as you're walking by, it doesn't quite look natural. There are a few torches, like, sporadically put up on the walls that are flickering this torchlight, that are causing these wavering shadows to go across these jagged runes that are just covering this massive room. It's this massive room with like a 30-foot tall ceiling, and these runes are just all over the walls, all over the ceiling. They seem to match what the Goliath had on his body. Sort of this, like, they look... One of the reasons that Rain can't really make heads or tails of what kind of magic it is these magical runes like this tend to be very symmetrical and pretty looking, and these are more like jagged and rough. Well, as the torchlight is like throwing these shadows on these runes, they seem to be like pulsating as if they're breathing, and then the air is thick with this like incense that seems to be burning in here somewhere, and it's it's got the air's like bitter, and it's a scent that clings to his lungs. You know, like almost like he's got tar in his lungs. Like he can, I think, especially Rain would be susceptible to this, right? That it's like all this junk that seems to be in the air. And then there is directly in front of him in the center of this room is this like large obelisk that's been pushed over. So it's laying down in the room, and so it's flat on this one side, and circling it there are about a dozen hooded figures. They're just they're standing in a circle around the altar, and they're doing a Jedi thing where they're like holding their own hands, but they're wearing these black cloaks so you can't see their hands, you know, so they're just kind of standing there. Most of them are swaying back and forth a little bit, although a few of them are standing still. And the creature that Rain knows, you know, keeps beckoning him forward. If Rain follows, he comes up to this circle, and they kind of break, and two of them move to let you in. The person that Rain has been having interactions with moves in and like gestures for Rain to follow him. Does he go with him?
Yeah, he's in it now. I mean, he went along with all of this, so he might as well keep going.
Yeah, but it's crazy to back out now, right?
Yeah, and it's like if they didn't kill him when he had a hood over his head, why the fuck would they be like trying to kill him now? Like that doesn't make sense to him.
Yeah, of course. So as you walk up to the obelisk, there are Rain notices there's chains at the top and bottom of it. So 4 total. And yeah, so the I should tell you this guy's name just so I can stop calling him this. But basically the contact Rain has, you know, walks up to the obelisk with him, and he says, "This last chance to back out. If you can be strong here, you'll have power you couldn't believe."
I can be strong, contact.
Even if you're willing to give up everything. And he pulls his the hood of his cloak back. And when he does, so Rain sees his face for the first time. And he is scaled, so he has scales all over his face. That are this like pink, green, and purple, just mixed all through his scales. That's what it looks like it used to be, and now it's like it's basically starting at his nose. It's white, and it kind of pales from there. So it's brighter away from his nose, but it's all still real pale, and there's actually even has a few scales that are like peeling back off of like the back of his head and stuff. And he throws his hood back to reveal this. So he also has Rain would see these slits in his neck that can obviously be like gills. So he must have lungs and gills. And then his teeth are all come down to like needle point. And I don't know if Rain. Why don't you make a history or nature check for me real quick? Or maybe I should
I'll do nature.
Okay.
As someone who is watching One Piece, and they're on Fishman Island, there's a lot of people like this on Fishman Island. Oh, that's a 19.
Oh, a 19. Good. I'm glad I didn't just tell you. I was like, this is a little bit of a world building opportunity. Maybe I should just tell him. Oh man.
Oh, it's for world building.
So with a 19, Rain would know that there are like this at first this isn't super jarring. I mean the scale coloring would be, but there is a humanoid race in Erys that they basically look like merfolk, or merfolk that don't have tails. They have feet, but when they're in the water, they put their legs together and they look like mermaids, like they have tails, and they swim that way, but they can come out of the water.
Okay, yeah.
And I I know I've mentioned this in other places. I don't know if I've mentioned it in this thing. So I just say all the water on this planet is very dangerous. Like even stream, obviously not like a lake or a man-made pond would be dangerous, but like rivers, the ocean, like anything that connects to a large body of water is very dangerous. And that's where these
like because of creatures or
yes, it's mostly creatures.
Okay,
like it's just very dangerous to be the This is the only known continent in the world because it's hard to sail a few miles away from it without your ship being destroyed. All those ship voyages that happen here are as close to land as it can be.
Okay.
It's just dangerous to go out into the open sea. And in one of the biggest cities that has this huge, large body of water surrounding it, these merfolk are very common in that body of water, and you can see them in deep rivers and stuff. So basically there's two versions of them, though. They look very similar, so if you don't know about them, you might not would know, but there are the Verus, which are... They're basically just like a regular humanoid race that looks like what I described, right? They also tend to be less extravagantly colored. They're more like dull, neutrally colors. And then there are the Frosts, and everything that Rain has heard about them is they're basically, they look a lot like the Ferris, but they act more like wild rabbit animals. And they're more brightly colored and prettier, and have these like crazy teeth, and like there's not any that Rain's never seen anything where like someone's talked about a civilized one, right? Like they're all creatures, and the other ones are like sentient beings. Yeah, the one you're talking to is definitely a Frost, which is one of the evil ones. One of that evil creature, like not a real person ones, but he seems to be sentient, and so like after he shows his face, says that you need to be willing to give up everything, he just like gestures for Rain to get on this turned over obelisk, their little makeshift slab right now.
You want me to get on the obelisk?
Is the only way to unlock your true potential. And as he says this now, with you seeing his face for the first time, you see his tongue flicks out of his mouth constantly when he talks, and it's like thin tongue, like about the size of width-wise, the average like pinky, and forked on the end.
Rain sees that, and like his tongue hangs out just a little bit, as if he was gonna pant like a dog, and then he like retracts it real quick. He kind of like
how
looks
Rain
around
imitates
at this...
voices. He already knew this guy stuck his tongue out this much when he talked. He's had lots of practice.
He's had lots of practice. I think he hesitates a little bit here because he's just like, it's
kind of a crazy thing. I understand.
But then he kind of just climbs on. Like he's like, he shrugs and goes, might as well, I guess. I've gone this far. He doesn't say that because he's not gonna talk, but
one of the cloak figures that can read minds goes, he said he could go this far. No, so he climbs up on the altar. Or not altar, sorry, the obelisk that's turned over. And
the sacrificial obelisk.
Yeah. Like the guy that's leading him kind of gestures for him to lay flat. When he lays down, they take these chains that have the I don't know if I said this before, but it was obvious, I feel like anyway, that they're tying your arms and your hands and feet with them. So they take these chains and they have these manacles on the end of them that they put on Rain's wrist and ankles, and then this Fruos puts his hood back on and kind of just takes a few steps back and blends in with
Fruos niche.
Fruos raw. Oh my gosh, is that what it is? Is that where that might be where these names came from subconsciously?
I assume
Jackie named
everything.
them though. I think Jackie named them, so
maybe.
I mean, one of the most important figures in this world, I realized came from Skyrim a year after I created him because you made a joke.
You
about
mean
it.
Ulrich?
Yes, you made a joke about it, and I was like, "Oh, that is a Skyrim guy."
Yeah, you're the only one out of the group that didn't know it was a Skyrim reference.
Yeah, everybody was like, "Oh, we thought you did that on purpose." No. So he just kind of fades back into this circle of cloaked figures, and they start chanting, and like now they're all swaying back and forth together, chanting something that Rain doesn't understand. It's just constant all the time. And one of them steps out of the circle and like sways up to Rain, and he pulls a dagger off his belt, and it's the blade seems to be made of obsidian too. It's got an obsidian handle, obsidian blade, and he pushes Rain's left hand flat and then slices across his palm, and he pushes in real hard and then slowly slides it across to slice his hand, and then pulls out a vial and lets the blood drip from the blade off the tip into a vial. Stopper on the vial, and then the vial and dagger. Well, no, just the vial disappears like into his cloak, and then he holds the dagger up over his head and puts his other hand on it too. So he's just holding it over his head, and then he starts swaying with the rest of these cloak figures as they're mumbling, and the runes are growing brighter and brighter, and the runes are glowing so bright now that it's hard to see in here. But you can still see, Rain can still see this silhouetted figure hovering over him with this dagger over his head, and then the dagger plunges down in one quick motion into Rain's chest. And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Mm-hmm. He's tied up, right?
Yeah, he's got chains on his wrists and ankles, so he can't move.
Yeah,
unless he's gonna try to break out or pick him or something.
That's an 11.
11. Okay, well, do what?
I was just gonna say I don't know if I think like the moment this happens, he probably has like a regret of like, oh shit, they're actually gonna kill me.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Does he try to escape in that moment, or?
I think he just tenses. Like his entire body just tenses up.
Okay, yeah, and so he tenses, and then this dagger he feels rip through his muscle and stab into his heart. And with this 11, Rain would feel pain, and then
he does feel pain usually.
Yeah, and then the runes glow so bright that he can't see anything, and he has this moment of clarity where he knows the runes aren't actually that bright. It's like I'm not there anymore.
Yeah.
And he feels his heart stop beating, and then everything goes black. And then Rain is in this just oblivion for... It's impossible for him to know how long. It's like when you've slept, you wake up and you don't know if you've been asleep for 30 seconds or 12 hours. Except he doesn't wake up. He just hears this thumping. And this thumping reminds him. He's been in this oblivion floating for so long that he's just gone. And then he hears this thumping, and it reminds him of who he is, right? And that he's not nothing, and he can't figure out what it is. And then the thumping grows louder and louder and more steady. And as Rain realizes it's a heartbeat that he hears, he wakes up. And when Rain wakes up, he is in a bed. I think he would immediately recognize it's in the Shoot, I did not call these dudes the Thieves Guild. The Cloaks.
No, they're not
in,
the Thieves Guild.
I was picturing their base and like it's the Thieves Guild from Skyrim. We said because it's always
of course
Skyrim.
it is. Yeah.
Right. Sometimes I steal from him on purpose. But he basically recognizes that he's there, but in a room he's never seen before, and he's still wearing that white robe, but it's just soaked in blood. And upon glancing around,
maybe this group should be called the Red Robes.
This room's very Spartan. It's just walls, bed, and then in the floor beside him is all his stuff. Like they did take his weapons and stuff off of him, or someone did. Like it's all piled up neatly, beside his bed. And there is also, though, a mirror on the opposite wall from where he is. So as Rain sits up and looks in the mirror and sees himself, he looks different than he did before. And I want you to tell me what Rain looks like as a reborn. Well, maybe you should tell us what he looked like before, right? And then what he looks like.
Well, he was
right now.
He was basically a black lab, a humanoid black lab. It was black fur, but he had light, kind of dark brown patches that you wouldn't usually notice because they're dark enough that they'd blend in with the black. But at times, certain lighting, you would notice the patches were a lighter shade.
Okay, yeah, somebody's had a lab. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, somebody's had to have a lab. And then what does he look like now? I think we've discussed this before. It's been a while, but I think almost all his fur.
And I don't remember. I'm sorry if I ambushed you with it, but
no, I have an idea. Before he was a black lab with chocolate brown eyes, I had dark brown eyes under it. He wakes up and sits up, and other than a few streaks of black fur, he is almost pure white. So he actually is whiter than his cloak right now.
Wow. So he's pure white, and then he has streaks of what?
Black. Still some of his remaining fur, and then his eyes are violet.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Do his eyes glow at all, or does he have anything like that? Any features like that are... I mean, I guess his white fur is...
I think the black streaks span from where he was stabbed.
Oh, man. So he has basically... Where his heart is really black, and then it's just these, veins leaving it all over his body
basically.
Yep. Yeah, I really like that. So he sits up and sees his new appearance, and what's he do? He seems to be in this room alone for the moment. And that's why also I was saying he knows where he is. He's been here enough, and especially, man, his freaking nose that we've already established a few times. I think, yeah, it's just obvious where he is, although he's definitely never been in this room before, but he knows, he's somewhere in that secret base of the Cloaks.
Yeah, he knows he's back there and he's alive, and it's probably a little weird for him. Oh, there's probably... if we're going to tie this in with, me leveling up, there's almost a weird static electricity feel to, when he moves, his fur moves as if he was, how if you take a balloon and, move it, not touching, but, right above your head and your hair stands up, that's kind of what happens anytime he gets close to anything. So his fur stands up when he's close to something.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that. That's something I should have said before. Rain was level 2 when this started, and this transformation gave him 2 levels, which, how'd you break him up? He was a ranger before. Did he take 2 monk levels, or a monk and a ranger?
He's pure ranger. He's level 4 ranger.
Oh, he's still totally ranger. Okay.
Yeah, I took that. Yeah, I did the 4th level as a ranger basically to bump up his ASI, and then from now on he'll go into monk levels, which I was thinking would be basically training from this point on.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah, so he just feels, yeah, he can feel that power moving through him, and I think as he does, he would even remember in his head, that Fruos telling him, like that this is going to unlock that power that he's looking for. He can already feel it pulsing in him, and before he even gets up and starts changing, the door opens, and the figure we were just talking about, the person that promised all this power that's been giving the missions, comes in, and he comes in this time, and his hood is off, so you can see his face again, and he's like, "Good, you're up. Get dressed and come with me, so you can see the real work. I have something very special for you."
Okay. And he just starts getting dressed.
Yeah, and I guess that's where we'll stop. We didn't get to the thing that I was wanting to do tonight. But it's getting late, unless you want to keep going, but I imagine not. It's past 10.
Yeah, it's probably a good time to call it.
Yeah.
It's a nice little... It works.
Also, real good natural ending, right? Where we're like, keep playing. We could be done. No? Yeah? Right. All right.